Hey, I'm Selvi. Today I'm going to present about sexting among youth. First of all, I'm going to talk about what is sexting. Sexting is an increasingly common activity among children and young people, where they share inappropriate or explicit images online or through mobile phones. It can also refer to written messages. According to the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, sexting is the exchange of self-generated sexually images through mobile picture messages or webcams over the internet. Young people may also call it as cybersex or sending a nudie picture or selfie. How common sexting in Canada? Here, I have a bunch of data from MediaSmart about sexting in gender 7 to 11. So, in the first chart, 9% of boys send sex of themselves to someone, while 8% of girls send sex of self to someone. In the second chart, 26% of boys sex of self was forwarded by recipient, while 20% of girls' sex of themselves was forwarded by recipient. In the third chart, 32% of boys received sex created by sender, while only 17% of girls received sex created by sender. In the fourth chart, 16% of boys forwarded sender created sex, while 12% of girls forwarded sender created sex. In the last chart, 28% of boys received sex forwarded by other, while only half of it received sex forwarded by other is done by girl. So this data definitely show that in our interventions, we have to be considering boys as author, as author, as well as recipients of sex. The young people who are forwarding these images don't see it as an ethical question. They do not see it as an issue of respect. Next, I'm going to talk about what are the dangers of sexting. First, it is not harmless. Young people may see sexting as harmless activity because nowadays they can see more and more people in their age are doing it. It is unfortunately part of today's teenagers' life. As for teenage couples, they might see sexting as the way to flirt with one another. However, there are actually high risks. Taking, sharing, or receiving an image, even voluntarily, can have a long-lasting negative impact. Secondly, it is illegal for people under age of 18 to do sexting. Sexting may be common, but it is illegal for them. By sending an explicit image, a young person is producing and distributing child abuse images and risks being prosecuted, even if the picture is taken and shared with their permission. Thirdly, it's easy to send a photo or message, but once the senders send it, they have no control about how the pictures is passed on. When images are stored or shared online, they become public. They can be deleted on social media or may only last for a few seconds on apps like Snapchat, but images can still be saved or copied by others. These images also may never be completely removed and could be found in the future, for example, when applying jobs or university. The last one, young people may think sexting is harmless, but it can leave them vulnerable to blackmail, bullying, or even harm. An offender may threaten to share the pictures with the child's family and friends unless the child sends money or more images. If images are shared with their peers or in school, the child may be bullied. and it will create unwanted attention. Images posted online can attract the attention of sex offenders who know how to search for, collect, and modify their images. And children can feel embarrassed and also humiliated. If they are very distressed, this could lead to suicide or self-harm. And then next, I want to talk about sexting and Canadian law. For adults, exchanging nude photos electronically is a legal activity under the most circumstances. However, the creation and sending of nude photos for people under the age 18 does break Canada's child pornography laws. And why does education matter in sexting? Technology is continuously changing, while laws are often staying the same. This leads to gaps where new acts are being considered from the perspective of harsh lenses. In fact, we need criminal penalties against sexting. But this is not the best solution. Education about the consequences of person's action and shifting social norms are more crucial than punishment to solve this problem. And who need to be educated about sexting? It is all of us. Teens, parents, and teachers need to be educated about sexting and its consequences. As the result, it will shape youths become digital citizens who are technologically responsible and ethical members of society. They do not fear to technology, but instead they choose to use technology for the right reasons. And now I want to talk about why this topic is important and how it reflects on my life as a young adult. I myself never experienced any sexting, so now I'm gonna talk as a young adult in general. Children who engage in sexting have the potential to ruin their teenage years, even sometimes their entire reputation. If the person they send the nude photo decided to post the image on the internet or share it with friends, then it's really harmful for them. Sadly, we have seen how an innocent photo exchange can easily turn into an extreme case of cyberbullying. One tragic case happened to an innocent girl from Vancouver named Amanda Todd. I'm sure a lot of people talk about it. She has even taken her own life after her embarrassing photos went public. She exposed her breast to an online correspondent who tried to extort further images from her at age 14. Moreover, I think sexting is now considered as a door into more dangerous behavior. Because after they involve in sexting, the risk of sexual behavior is higher to happen. By taking such risks, children are increasing their chances of coming into contact with sexually transmitted diseases, unwanted pregnancies, and in the long run, they possibly suffering from the side effects of alcohol or drug use. Finally, I'm gonna talk about what should be done. Well, sexting isn't something we can ignore, and it won't go away on its own. So it is our responsibility to face the reality of this situation and try to incorporate with it. The first thing that can be done is starting a dialogue. If you are a parent, you can have a casual discussion about sexting with your child and keep it going on a regular basis. And for teachers, you can educate or sharing about sexting and all the social pressures that come with it to your students. Secondly, create awareness is also important. Create awareness in your community, among your friends and family, and share your knowledge about sexting. The third one, and I think it is very important to consider, to not giving a teenager smartphone until they are mature enough to handle the responsibility. And then the last one is quite useful for parents to take advantage of the cell phone monitoring tools that are available to you from third-party companies or cell phone provider. Because I think monitoring what your child does online and via their cell phone is responsible parenting. Okay, so this is the end of my presentation. I hope the information that I gave is useful. Thank you for your attention.